Hi. All right. Perfectionism. That's what I came here to talk about today and how it has everything to do with manifestation. And some of you may be like, oh, I gotta be like perfect with my thoughts to manifest my reality. And that's like the opposite of what I want to talk about here. So, the way in which, let us begin by taking a breath, first of all, because we're like, okay, let's dive in. I meditated, okay? I was able to ground and to center, and I wish the same for you. So, tuning into the body, tuning into the breath, a whole body breath, a whole body receiving, because just as what I want to talk about today, that is perfectionism. We don't breathe fully. We don't, if you want to be perfect about something, how about a full body breath? So, perfectionism. As we're coming into the body, I want you to become aware of, because you have like a tool right here, right? It's your GPS. How do you feel in your body when you hear perfectionism? Perfect. Does it feel free? Does it feel this energy of an ideal? I feel restriction in my hands. Like there's this like kind of really feeling that grasping perfectionism. What do you feel like? Just becoming aware, because this is what manifestation is all about. It's becoming aware of feeling those frequencies, and you feel well through your emotion on a very basic level. But then as we begin to trust that more, we move into feeling frequency. Like you can feel it in your body. So when you say the word perfection, perfect, perfectionist, perfectionism, how do you feel in your body? Now, as a recovering perfectionist, and so I'm going to go into today how actually perfectionism is standing in your way of manifestation in a really, really sneaky way. So, first of all, we feel like, oh my God, I gotta be so perfect with my thoughts to manifest that which I want. I should never be upset. I actually love it when, the work that I do, and I'm all about this and all about creating your reality and all about raising your frequency. And there are days where it's like a shitstorm. And what do I do? What does Anna, who teaches this, what does she do? She's raising her frequency and feeling amazing. No, I go into the storm feeling those emotions fully, roaring fully, not dumping my emotions on other people. Actually, what I often do is retrieve and just kind of go into, look, not available right now. Need to go through a storm, need to do some inner work, feel it fully, because there's an energy that if we repress it and pretend that it's not there, it's not going anywhere. Okay? All your unprocessed emotions from childhood, they didn't go anywhere. They're just in the body piling up and then later on manifesting as physical illnesses, manifesting as, things in your outer reality that you would rather not manifest. So those things aren't going anywhere. And if we just put like, happy thoughts and a smiley sticker, the problem isn't going away, right? Imagine you are driving and your check engine light goes on and you just put a happy face on it. Will that solve the problem? It won't. But we try to do that, and we try to, um, let me just feel good and put on a happy song. And yes, I feel a little bit better, but there's still this, like anxiety, for example, or worry or fear or anger that's not going anywhere, that's not being properly processed. And that's one of the things that I want to address, that the importance of feeling fully. And it's so much easier to do when, we meditate, when this is the work that I do with my one-on-one clients, when we learn how to disconnect and to observe that which is coming up. I'm not it. It is a part of me. I can hold it. I can even love it. And that's difficult to do for a lot of people. But by the end of the 3 months that we do the work together, that's where they get to. Oh my God, that's not the problem. It's how I'm handling it that is. And I'm learning how to handle it, and I feel good about it. And I can actually love those aspects that I was like rejecting in the past. And when we have this idea of perfectionism, what often comes to mind is when a child is crying and their parents say, "Well, don't cry now," and that's not something to cry about, um, they're trying to make the child feel better, and good-meaning parents, but what it really communicates is, "Your anger is imperfect, it's not allowed here. Your sadness, your overwhelm, your anxiety don't have the right to be here. That's not perfect, that's not acceptable, that's too loud, that's inconvenient. Put that away." And so, what is perfectionism really about? I want to take a deep breath for this one. And I can really say this as a recovering perfectionist. That's the mask, the persona that I've put on for years in my past. Perfectionism is really a fear. It's the fear of rejection and abandonment that is masked. Because if I'm perfect, people won't leave me. If I'm perfect, people won't reject me. So I'm gonna go do and go and create so that people like me and approve of me. And I'll keep trying. And if it's not perfect, then I'm not gonna do it. Because what if people reject me? And this all came, here's what, when, recovering perfectionists here, or maybe you are in perfectionist mode right now, being afraid to really state what is it that I want. Because, ooh, what if I can't get it? And then I'm not perfect. And I have that with so many clients. It's bring tears to my eyes because they're really holding, like, I can feel their energy as they're talking about it. Like, I'm asking, what do you really want? And they're like, it's there, but it's like they have a stone wall around it. Like, no one will ever know. Because if I dare to voice it and I can't follow through on it, then I'm not perfect. Then I reject myself. Because here's the thing, and I'm going to get to what does this have to do with manifestation? It's all about this, okay? In a moment. When we are afraid, we're going to perfectionists because we're afraid of being rejected, because we're afraid of being abandoned. But here's the thing, your mind, your ego will tell you that you're afraid of the outside. Because originally, right, as a child, you kind of need your parents to like you. Okay, you're in trouble if they don't. Like if your caregivers don't like you, you're dead, because we can't survive as children on our own. So, what do I need to be or to do for mommy and daddy to like me? Which parts of me do I have to shut down and reject so that I can fit in? All right. And that served us. And that's where the perfectionists come in. Like, how do I not get rejected? How do I shine and be perfect and do what other people want me to do so that I'm safe? Okay. So it's a safety mechanism. Thank you for that. We survived. Okay. We made it to here. It worked for a particular amount of time. Now, with that, the rejection, we believe that what we're afraid of, because that was physical survival, right? And we believe that what we're afraid of is people outside of us rejecting us. But that's not what we're actually afraid of. At some point, like I said, it was about physical survival. But as we grow older, we're like, I'm not dependent on that anymore. Or maybe we are, like in the sense like, well, I kind of need my boss to like me. And we go into that not realizing it's like, no, you don't. And look, this is like a rabbit hole. You create your own reality. Separate video. Let's not focus on this right now. But from a place of, I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of abandonment. We're actually afraid of being abandoned, rejected by ourselves. I cannot express how many times in client sessions they come to me with a trigger of something outside of them. As intimate, let's go into the most painful one, an intimate partner. I feel not heard, not understood, not validated, rejected. And as we go deep, it's not about the person. It's about judging a part of ourselves that we feel judged. So let's say, well, I don't feel heard by my partner. It's really a part of us that feels like at some point, I'm not good enough to be listened to. And because that story keeps playing and we keep telling ourselves that, right? It's like the person that first contributed to that story. We take personal responsibility here on this channel. We take personal responsibility. It's your story that came up. However, the characters, maybe early caregivers who contributed to that story, they're not here anymore. You grew up, right? The bullies, even though you may have had the best parents, but bullies in the sense of that ego story of protagonist, antagonist, right? You're the protagonist and they're the antagonist who told you, well, shut up, maybe like kids are inconvenient sometimes, and you had that story like, oh my God, I shouldn't speak now, right? I'm not feeling heard. What I have to say isn't important. And that person isn't there. But there you are, the grown-up you, telling that little one over and over again, shut up, be quiet. What you have to share isn't worth it. And so when we have that triggered outside of us, we feel like shit. We feel like that little one being unheard, being unappreciated, not validated. And it's because there's a button within us to be pressed. I just on Saturday did a workshop in the Powerful Self membership, and it was about how to create conscious relationship. What does that really mean? What does conscious communication really means? And it was a big emphasis was on the fact that the other people only press your buttons. If you have a button to be pressed, it's not about, well, you suck, you press my buttons. It's like, oh my God, thank you. You shined light on the fact that there was a button within me that is unhealed that you were able to press. Okay, so it's an opportunity. Triggers are an opportunity to come into wholeness. So now, back to the perfectionism. What does that have to do with manifestation? Why it's like a major block when you're talking about manifesting your reality? Because when we're going, and I want to bring back to those clients that I was tearing up as I was talking about it, what do you really want? And it's that frequency. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm excited and fun and like the eagerness, the joy, the appreciation, the God, what is that on the highest scale? I actually have it right here. Freedom, love, empowerment, appreciation, joy, those energies, like those are the frequencies that create. Those are the frequencies that just like, boom, skyrocket that which you want to manifest. And if we're not able to tune into that, if the perfectionist is blocking that, right? Those people that are there like, don't even enter the race if you're not going to win. Don't even try for that if you're not going to go through with it. Now, this is more of those that are in their masculine in the sense that when we operate, men or women, this isn't, masculine doesn't mean man or woman, just the masculine energy within us, a direction, that purpose, that drive. And we go into, well, if I'm doing that, there has to be like a purpose to it and an end result. Because there are plenty of people that are more in their feminine and flowy, just like, let me try this and let me try that. And they're like, let's say like digging several holes, but they're not actually getting down to reaching the water when you're digging for water, because like you don't dig deep enough for a long time. So I'm not talking about that if it's your case. I'm talking about if you're there going, and finding yourself that, I need that perfectionist. I need that. Did I reach the end goal, even if I feel exactly like burnt out and exhausted? When you're not willing to just start walking the path, even though you don't know what the end result looks like, you're closing off to all the roads that come from that path. Does that make sense? So when we tune in, what is it that I really want? And we begin to walk that path, it might not lead us to where we think we want to go, but there might be another path. And then from that path, there may be another path. And that is how we manifest. That is how we create. That is how we tune into what we truly want. But if you don't start walking that path to begin with, the original idea, that heart-inspired action, that just, curiosity, you're never going to get there. So the perfectionist blocks that. And again, getting to the root here, what are you really afraid of? Because at the root of it, there's fear of rejection and fear of abandonment. And that's what you want to look at, okay? And this is what I do with my one-on-ones. This is what we do in the Powerful Self membership. Several, free events that I do, like 3-day events, are sometimes around that. So really do the work around that, because it's just so freaking heartbreaking when, because of that perfectionism, so because of being rejected by, you think, other people, but it's actually yourself, and that's something you have complete control over. right? Just holding that part of you, loving that part of you, unconditionally accepting that part of you, connecting with that part of you. Like, you have control over that. And because of that, we buy into the illusion that the fear is outside of us. And because of that, we buy into, oh, wait, I shouldn't even go into what I truly want because what if I fail? Okay. And this is what I wanted to bring in this week. Now, Equinox is a powerful time, and we have the equinox coming on the 21st, I believe, of 20th, 21st of March. I actually have several events going on live and also online. And one of the things that I'm doing next week is Awaken the Greatest Self. That is a free 3-day event. Because of this, like, how do we utilize and these energies? I'm doing this right now because the equinox is all about rebirth. It's all about, actually, several events that I'm doing is all about the lotus flower. How it's like, there's a book actually called No Mud, No Lotus. You need the mud to create this beautiful flower that repels all the dirt, that is just so freaking gorgeous. And we have that within you. How do we awaken that greatest version of ourselves? And sometimes it looks like going through that mud. And that's actually necessary. And one of the things that I started talking about during this live was how, we think that when shit hits the fan and we're going into, like, let me just put happy stickers everywhere and that's okay. That contrast is so, so important. Those roars, this, I don't like this, is so important because it gets you really clear on what you do want. And so pretending that those moments are not there or avoiding them, like, oh, I don't want the bad things in my life. It's like, yes, you do, because it gets you clear on what you do want. And the beauty of this is that you can't fail. You can't fail. I actually had a client that was saying, well, what if I fall into an ego pattern and satisfy those egoic needs? I'm like, great, you held your inner child. It's a win-win. On the one hand, you're either satisfying that and holding your inner child saying, it's okay, this is what you need right now, it's all right. Or you're moving to that greater vision. Great, it's a win as well. It's a win-win. You can't fail because life supports you, because life takes care of life in your life itself. So there will be a link below, probably later today. Sign up, 3-day event. Day 2, as always, if you've attended my events before, is an activation. We're going deep in the subconscious mind, coming out feeling amazing. So definitely check that out. And I thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.